possession this week compared to any other week?
Yeah, I mean, that is a misleading stat at times, but with a fast-paced tempo group like Oregon and how they've been, it is important. It's ability to kind of control the clock and keep that offense off the field, and that's I think anytime you can control the time of possession, it's a good thing for us.
What stands out about what they bring defensively, and obviously transition to defensive coordinator?
Yeah, the speed particularly. They've got good size up front, but speed at every position, and I think that's probably on both sides of the ball. Really good team speed. I think that they've got the defensive front that's active. The two tackles are big guys, and they can move well for as big as they are. You're talking 300 plus, and then I really like 97's pass rush ability. So they've just got a lot of athleticism across the board.
Danny, other than the obvious going 3-4 to 4-3, is there a Brady stamp on this defense that stands out or something?
I think that they're really well disciplined and sound. I don't think that they really have limited big plays in the first two games. I think they've been able to, they've given up some yards here and there, but they've done a nice job of just keeping things in front of them. I think we've tried to look at that, from a Michigan standpoint a little bit, from his influences there, and then on to Oregon. So I think they're kind of in the early stages of their installation and kind of working through the kinks. It's year one for that group, and I think we'll probably see some things this week that we haven't seen yet on film.
When you say that they're in their early stages of installation, I mean, I kind of hear that might be an advantage for Nebraska. Is that?
I don't think they have probably every single thing well oiled up, ready to go. That it's like our first year. We've got a lot of stuff in, but we're not great at running it yet. So I think there's probably an advantage a little bit in the sense that they don't have everything they're going to want to do going forward, probably quite ready to go yet. But like I said, they'll keep adding, and therefore there'll be some looks that we haven't seen yet.
So have you been looking back at Brady Hoke's Michigan at all?
Yeah, and kind of looking back on the history and mostly been a 4-3/4 defense. So that's kind of what we're basing it off of. And you evolve over the years. I mean, everybody tends to do things a little different, so we're not going to try to go back too far. But always the best thing that we have to go off of is the film that we've seen and understand that there'll be some looks that we haven't seen yet.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
So is it kind of hard to predict what's going to be? 'Cause it's still Oregon's defense, but it's also Brady Hoke Michigan. Is that tough to kind of decide what they're going to do?
Yeah, it's kind of like a first game, where you're, especially with a new group, you're not totally sure what you're going to get. You have some things to go off of, but you're going to have to adjust a little bit too. So we're luckily have seen some 3-4 already, and they bounce in and out of a 3-4 look from 4-3 personnel. So that's a good thing for us that we've already faced some of that. The more 3-4 snaps they play, at least we've had some good work at it. So you can bring a lot of different pressure from those looks, and I'd expect that from them. But I think overall you just have to go off of what you've seen and take the information you have and make your decision from there.
How's it been for you, all the plays in boxing this year? How's that going to go?
It's good. It's a great vantage point. You can really see a lot of stuff. I think there's advantage and disadvantage to both up and down, but I do like being able to see. I think our conversations, my conversations with the staff and then the quarterback too have been good. So I probably have better information to give him. And so I think that when you're able to see some things and help them with, okay, this is what they're doing on, coverage-wise or pressure-wise, and then, making sure that we are getting everything communicated correctly, and I think that's probably an advantage to being up there.
51 runs against Fresno, a lot more passing than running last week. How balanced did you play on the offensive this week?
Yeah, we had the balance was there, I think, in terms of run and pass in Wyoming. I don't think the production was. I think a lot of production in Fresno, so we stayed with it. Not very much production in Wyoming, and we kept trying, but needed to hit some passes too. So I think the balance is good. I think if we can have success running, the more runs you'll see, and when it's tough, we've got to try to do some different things to open it up. So whether we pass to open that up or just keep trying some different things, it just depends on the game.
You may not see all this or hear all this, I'm sure you don't, but the outside noise here for a guy like Tommy, what's it like compared maybe to Corvallis and Sean Mannion a couple of years back? And how's Tommy handle all that?
Yeah, I think that he just has to play his game and do the very best he can and not worry about a bunch of opinions. I think as the level of football gets higher and higher, there's a lot more opinions and overreactions. So I think people don't always see the big picture with, especially that position. I think there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of praise, probably too much at times, and there's a lot of blame, probably too much at times. So you kind of have to try to stay pretty even keel and not get too up or down with anything. Sometimes things go wrong that aren't all his fault, and then there's some things he could do better too. So I think if he can be consistent in his preparation each week and continue to improve on the fundamentals and throwing accurately and making good decisions, then he'll be just fine.
Was New York like in that regard?
Yeah.
Everything was
Yeah, they are passionate about football, but so is Nebraska, and people care about it. I think that's what makes it great. Sometimes, like I said, maybe overreactions to things, but people get they pay good money to come to the games, and they're entitled to their opinions. So I think trying to limit the amount of noise you're listening to is probably a good thing for your mental health.
I think this might be a better question for Coach Reed, but how is Zach Darwin to handle that older and 2-point?
Yeah, he's kind of playing. I think he's done great, and I don't want to speak for Bruce, but I think that we've got some of the swinging gate stuff, and he's handled that well, and he's playing a limited role with us and kind of being an emergency quarterback, but he's spent a majority of his time with the special teams. But he's doing good. It's that stuff's looked good. I thought, just as a as a spectator myself.
I know it's not really your expertise, but have you watched film on the Oregon quarterback, Dakota? Have you seen? Okay, well, what do you think of him?
I've just seen clips of him here and there. Kind of watching the spring stuff mostly. Looks like a good athlete. They've always had athletic guys that run around well, and he looks to be. I know he had a lot of success at Montana State, and I think that to go there and learn quickly and win the job, I think that just speaks to how smart he is and his abilities.
With an offense like that, as a play caller, how difficult is it to not get caught up and trying to go point for point with them and stick to your game plan when they can score in a hurry?
Yeah, I mean, you need to go point for point. That's the goal. So I think you have to play your game though, and we've played them enough, and we've had some shootouts and some close games, and I think if you can continue to do your deal and not get caught up in what else is going on, how you have a plan, you have a game plan that you stick to. I think part of that is sustaining drives and not giving them another crack at it, because they do go fast, and that tempo wears you down. I think if we can get our defense off the field, resting is a good thing for our team. So if you can establish some of that time of possession and sustain the drives, I think that's a really good thing for our entire team.
Danny, any updates on Brandon Riley or Alonzo Moore?
Nothing major. Alonzo had a little bit of work today, so we're trying to get those guys back. We won't know till later in the week.